During the past years, the Jerusalem Film Fund at the Jerusalem Development Authority has been a major supporter of the Jerusalem Film Festival, especially by endorsing Israel's film industry activities in our festival. This year, our online edition of the festival holds masterclasses, screenplays, pitching events, and sneak previews of Israel's latest harvest. We are proud to host this special international event unfolding Jerusalem's animation scene.
Good evening from Jerusalem. Tonight, we are proud to present Jerusalem's thriving animation scene. We'll walk through, or rather zoom through, three main support stages available at the Jerusalem Film Fund: developing, financing, and producing. The realization of our dream to set up an Israeli animation industry in Jerusalem could only have been possible with the vision of the Jerusalem Development Authority's leaders, Eyal Chaimovsky and Udi Bendel, the guys who fulfill the proverb that in Jerusalem, dreams and miracles are part of our daily reality.
Yes, and a costly dream it is too. The Jerusalem Development Authority, which I have great honor of leading, has built and supported Jerusalem tourism, biotech, high-tech, parks and transportation system, all in order to empower and attract creative young people to flourish in our unique city. The Jerusalem Film Fund has not only supported dozens of films telling our story, but also as a created support track for local talents. And animation is the crown jewel. So as Charlie Chaplin saying, action speaks louder than words. Let's taste some of our action.
Hi, my name is Amit Giselta. I've been working in the animation industry for the past 15 years. Literally, from the moment I realized that humans create animation, and it doesn't exist only in Toontown. Since then, I knew that I want to be part of that world. I'm the owner of the content studio The Hive. We are a versatile animation house with multiple pipelines, developing and producing high-quality commercial and independent content. We developed the show Cheryl Holmes and the Kid Detectives. It's a show about Cheryl, the niece of the most famous detective in the world. Together with Watson, her canine friend, and her wonderful other friends, Naz and Mika, they solve mysteries around them in fun and style. The target audience is upper preschool, 4 to 7, and it's done in 3D animation. The concept was developed with my partner Aran BY, and it all started from an event by the JFF called the Hop, Skip and Jump. It was a mingling event where we interacted and we were talking about concepts that we could pitch to the JFF, and literally that's when we realized that this is the concept that we need to invest in. It was brilliant because there was a twist on an original concept. It was something commercial. Everyone recognized the project. And the values that I wanted to pass on as a creator were just there for the taking. That's when we felt that that was the right thing for us. Yes, there are thousands of ideas out there and concepts to develop daily. But what makes it stand out, what made Cheryl stand out to us, was its originality. That's when we knew to move this project forward over the other 1,000 projects that we were developing. We joined the development route on the Hop, Skip and Jump in 2017, and we met incredible mentors like Fonda Snyder, David Levine from Disney, and Christopher Keenan from Mattel. These bunch of incredible individuals with years of experience loved the project, and they gave us the amazing input that made it stronger. To stand out, we invested a lot of time and money in the development of the process to make a much better pitch deck. Thanks to the mentors' suggestions, but eventually we didn't get the funding that time. But we didn't give up, and we continued to raise the necessary funds to create the proof of concept. We got funding from Karen McCord, a private funding, and additional government funding. That literally got the project off the ground. We started shopping the project, and we even came close to signing a deal with Mattel, which eventually fell through. We returned to the hop skip 2 years later with the POC, and thanks to the suggestions that we got from the mentors, we managed to get the funding for marketing, and it helped us get the project to where it is today. If you ask me tips and tricks of how can we push this industry forward, it's essential to have a proof of concept in your hand when you go to shop the project. And that should be the first and foremost deal when you start a production. So, I'm eternally grateful for the hop, skip and jump I received from the Jerusalem Film Fund. It connected me to the outside world. But at the end of the day, the recognition for our projects and the opportunities we created were thanks to the endless investment in the concept. Therefore, to improve the Israeli connection to the outside world, the financial investment should be done preliminary from the get-go and not as it is today, from the first moment of animation. And that maybe is the smallest thing I could say about this entire development process. So thank you very much for the help, and I hope to see you next year in Jerusalem.
Hello, my name is Noah Meshulam and I am the director and one of the creators of the animated series Numberville. The series was co-created with Inbal Harel and Shachar Invender, who also wrote it as a screenwriter. Pichipoy, the company I owned for 35 years, has produced the series. This is the third series we are producing for the public channel Kan, and for the first time as the main production company. Over the year, we have produced quite a few TV series for children, commercial and short films, a full-length animated film, Baldy Heights, and we are working on a second animated film these days. Numberville is our math-based adventure series in which all its residents are mathematical creatures living in a mathematical world, using mathematical superpowers. It's a series for children aged 4 to 7. Each episode is 15 minutes long, and Pichipoy has already produced 30 episodes, and we hope that there will be another season. The series is translated simultaneously into Arabic, and we have one episode translated into English. The idea for the series was born when Inbal Harel approached me about 4 years ago. We met after a pitch event that happened here in Jerusalem. She spoke to me about creating a math series mainly for her cute daughter. We both agreed that it must be something fun to watch, regardless of its math content. We teamed up and started working with a Hop, Skip and Jump International Animation Development Program in Jerusalem. With them, we went through a process of development that sharpened and refined the idea for the series. We approached Kan, the educational public television channel in Israel, which in a rare move took the plunge and financed the animated series on their own. The series aired for the first time in July this year and is now broadcast 3 times a day.
I knew it. It's too deep.
Hold on. We're on Mr. Minus's estate. Everything here is backwards. Maybe instead of jumping on the branch so that it makes the ball fly upwards, I'll push it downwards.
Yay!
Here is who? Huh? Making a commotion is who?
Uh-oh, it's Mr. Minus. He's back from the market early. He speaks backwards from the end to the beginning.
Here is who?
He's saying who is here.
Making a commotion is who?
Who is making a commotion? Quickly, run away!
The series tells the adventure of 5 adorable, curious and restless characters, kids and their pet dog, Zero. The group live in Numberville City and they play together in the neighborhood playground. Each episode includes a problem or an issue which forces the group to leave the playground on an amusing and heroic adventure or rescue mission. Of course, things don't always go by the plan. Sometimes the character gets stressed out and confused and join each other into the wrong combination to solve their problem. The road to the realization of Numberville from conceptual idea up to its broadcast was relatively not very long compared to other animation projects. We believe that our characters can also succeed in the international market because of the funny and the imaginative stories that are translated into a cartoon series, and through an adventure and fun will make math loved by children everywhere.
6 years ago, on a cloudy winter's day, we invited 20 of Israel's leading animation talents and presented them our plan of establishing from scratch the Israeli animation industry here in Jerusalem. It was our vision that Jerusalem can not only be the cinematic capital of Israel, but that we open new horizons and new opportunities for the city of Jerusalem and the creative people living and working in the city. Today, only 6 years later, Jerusalem has studios, production support systems, development workshops. Animation, Israel's leading animation festival, directed by Tammy Bernstein, and we even have more to offer. Supports for building new studios, training programs, Israel's first animation studies in high schools, and a thriving ecosystem uniting and bonding all of these together. Please meet one of the main suspects of making all that happen, Oded Turgeman.
Hello from LA. Jerusalem had become Israel's leading city in animation. How were we able to achieve that? Dreams and miracles were mentioned, but between you and me, without the support and guidance of our friends from all over the world, our dreams would not have been able to materialize.
Oh, hey, it's Josh. I had an extraordinary time last year when I went to visit Jerusalem as a guest of the Jerusalem Film Fund, and I will say the entire thing was incredible. But I also met some extraordinarily talented artists and writers and directors. I saw some fantastic projects, and it's really been like an impactful experience for me.
Hello, my name is Orion Ross, and on a good day in normal times when I'm not just a talking head on a Zoom call, I work for Disney in London, developing animation series for all of our platforms across Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. And last year, in November, I was honored and flattered to be invited as a guest of the Jerusalem Film and Television Fund to attend the Hop, Skip, and Jump event and the Jerusalem International Animation Festival as a guest. And it was, if I had to describe the whole experience in one word, it would just be that it was intense. The schedule was intense. They worked us very hard. We saw a lot of new ideas for pitches in progress. We saw amazing new short films. We got to see the whole city as well, which was pretty cool.
Greetings from Los Angeles. I'm Stephen Wendland, the former VP of Animation at Technicolor. Some of you might remember my first visit to Jerusalem years ago now. I believe it was when the JFF animation program was first initiated. I was thrilled to be there at the time, but when I walked into the Bezalel Academy and saw all the artists, all the creatives, and the enthusiasm and the support, it was just tremendous. And I thought right then and there, you know, this is the next hotbed of animation in the world.
I enjoyed attending the Hop, Skip, and Jump Festival tremendously for many reasons. One was to meet so many fantastic creators and artists and animators in Israel and Jerusalem. The next was to be able to provide some feedback to those creators. It was really rewarding, particularly to be able to do that in Israel, where half of my family lives, and I've been going since I was a little kid.
An amazing conference bringing together great talent in Jerusalem. And that's what I'm here to say to you today is congratulations on the amazing talent and the work that's being done in Jerusalem in the world of animation. And I really look forward to seeing more, hearing more, being more part of the passionate animation community in Jerusalem.
I saw the rushes, and I think you've done an amazing job. I find each and every pitch projects the film precisely and concisely. And I find that you guys are all so different from one another, and you've shown that in such an interesting way in each presentation. So I wish you big luck, and it was a pleasure for me working together. And I hope to see your projects coming through. It
was my first trip to Israel, my first trip to Jerusalem. The history of the place is intense. Was honored to be there with other esteemed guests like Aaron Warner.
I felt like I met such great people and made lifelong friends and learned so much about the industry there and the exciting opportunities that are happening. And I really look forward to coming back and to hopefully working with some of you in the near future.
The creativity that we saw throughout all this and the passion and the artistry was also intense.
Alongside our international development program, the Hop, Skip and Jump, we also hold special programs for developing short animation films and, together with Kan, Israel's public broadcaster, developing animation web series. We also have created a unique collaboration workshop and presentation with the Annecy Animation Festival, thus offering our talents different programs for different goals. Let's watch 3 outstanding projects developed at these unique programs.
My name is Ido Shapira.
My name is Amit Cohen. We are the creators of the animation film Your Bad Animals. Ido and I started working together 4 years ago in our 3rd year at Bezalel. Since then we are making short films together. We developed our new film in the workshop of the Jerusalem Film Fund in the course of developing short animated films. For several months we worked on the script and the direction of the film with the guidance of Tami Berenstein and Ossi Wald.
Your Bad Animals is about Rachel. Rachel is a teenage mouse, a naive, impulsive, and very, very curious mouse. She lives in a hole under the ground with her depressed mother. She feels suffocated by her needy mother, and her only connection to the outside world is an app, kind of like Tinder. Through the app, she is able to look at the animals that live in the city above the hole. Everything changes for Rachel when her phone breaks down, and Mr. Giraffe, a sexy phone technician, enters the hall and opens a new world for Rachel. From this point of the story, Rachel begins to date with a series of the most vicious animals in the city, much to the resentment of her caring mother. The film moves between the dates in the big city and Rachel's struggle with her mother. The inspiration for the film came from a combination of different experiences. My personal inspiration came from the huge amount of dating that I went to through a dating app. I felt that on every date I stumbled upon a different and strange world. I really wanted to create a script built on a series of dates with the app leading the character to a sequence of bizarre worlds, like a kind of a compass. And during the various dates, the character goes through a journey that changes him.
I really wanted to make a film from a female perspective that deals with the issues of loving but suffocating relationship between mother and daughter, and the longing to experience sexuality with the strangest and the most mysterious creatures you can meet in the big city. This desire and inspiration stemmed from my personal experience as a girl who moved from a small village in the north to Jerusalem, a large, diverse, colorful city full of adventures and weird creatures. These interactions were overwhelming, exciting, and sometimes very painful. The most important thing for us was to make a film that managed to combine uneasy topics, like growing up with a depressed mother, difficult experiences in adolescence, and the twisted world of predator and prey, but also to combine a comic and ironic tone, which will make the film interesting, intriguing, and even funny for the viewer. In this film, we do everything ourselves: the script, the direction, the art, the animation, and all the different stages between them. The workshop was our only framework for development, and we consulted with the workshop participants at every stage and every detail. It gave us a lot of motivation and a very great sense of progress.
At the end of the workshop, we received financial support to the development phase of the project from the Jerusalem Film Fund. After that, we received support from Mifal Hapais and then from Keren Makor Film Fund as well. One of the most meaningful points in working on the film was participation in a very intensive development workshop of the NSC Festival. In this workshop, we received a lot of criticism about the film, about the motives of the character, their different goals, and their relationship with each other. It was really an instructive and outstanding experience to receive this amount of in-depth feedback. During the workshop, we also received tips for the presentation of the project. We memorized the written text of the pitch, created an impressive visual presentation, and learned how to describe the project in some clear and understandable points, so we did not lose touch with the audience. For us, the most important piece of advice was to focus on the main character and the changes she is going through, rather than speak of all the different plot details that are hard to follow. In general, it is worth clearing the pitch of all kinds of unnecessary noises, excuses, irrelevant explanation, sub-characters, and plot points that should not be expanded on, and attractively explain the essence of the project while focusing on the characters that runs the story.
The longest and the most challenging stage for us was working on the script. It was complex to produce a script for a short film that will include all the different ideas and all the characters we wanted to put into it. For example, one of the significant changes during the work was Rachel's father. The original idea was to expand the character of the missing father, the reasons he disappeared, and how Rachel's attitude towards men was affected by him. The attempt to achieve closure with the father had made the end more complicated and turned out to be unnecessary. After the Annecy workshop, we realized that we must simplify the story, and we decided to give up this character. This is an amazing moment when you realize that you can give up a character completely and the script will not be harmed by it. On the contrary, we'll only get better and become focused on the main character without unnecessary psychological background. The grants we received gave us the opportunity to work on the various stages of the film in the best way for us, hire a studio and a script consultant, and make special sounds and dubbing. We are both currently working full-time on the animation phase. We hope to finish the film on the coming months and screen it in Israel and around the world. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Eliran Peled, the co-director and the film producer. My life changed when I was 6. I watched a scratchy DVD copy of the Italian film Cinema Paradiso. There were no subtitles, so I didn't really understand a thing, but at the time the credits began to roll, I had an answer for the question, what do you want to do when you grow up? I decided that I'm going to make movies. As the time passed, in which I watched Cinema Paradiso with subtitles, the movie theater in my neighborhood became my temple. It wasn't Paradiso, it was Rav Chen Kiryat Ono, but for a weird kid in a challenging environment, this place was a home. A bubble of happiness away from daily reality. In recent years, my obsession grew. Now it's not only movies, it's also the stories of old movie theaters. They fascinate me. And I can carry on and on about them. You can ask Mayan, my amazing partner, if she was here, she will tell you about it. But above all, there was one story of a specific place that embodies the magic that cinema has to offer. Cinema Rex ran in Jerusalem under British rule on the border of the Jewish and Arab neighborhoods of Jerusalem, across the street of the British police station. It was one of the only businesses in the city managed by an Arab and a Jewish entrepreneurs, and the audience were people from the entire city. In a divided city, Cinema Rex was a magical bubble of sanity, until reality knocks on its doors. In the film's opening shot, we meet Moise, a clumsy Jewish kid, an adventurer who is afraid to cross the street by himself. His father works as the projectionist in Cinema Rex. Today, Moise will see the cinema for the first time in his life. On the way, they witness a loud argument between a Jewish marchman and an Arab marchman, while a hopeless British cop watches them and does nothing. This is, my friends, 1938 Jerusalem, a divided city. When they get to the cinema, Moise is amazed by the shiny entrance. His father asks him only for one thing: stick by me and talk to no one. They enter the projection room, a place that looked menacing and dangerous to Moise at first. He doesn't really understand what his dad is actually doing there. Moise curiously looks through the window and sees the magnificent theater beneath him. But his excitement quickly turns to boredom when a boring newsreel begins. Suddenly, he hears the door open, with the noise of popcorn crunching. Moise jumps from his place. He loves popcorn more than anything, pretty much. When he turns his head, he's disappointed to discover no one is there. But he's sure he wasn't imagining, and that there is somewhere with popcorn. He runs to the door, opens it, and discovers a trail of popcorn leading downstairs. Without thinking twice, he follows it. The trail leads to the cafeteria manager. Under her dress hides her daughter Ranin, an Arab girl with a wild imagination and a rolling laugh, who spends her days imagining things and drawing adventure stories. And this is how they first meet.
فشار؟ ها؟ فشار ها؟ طب لا ها؟
Wow. The business transaction is very successful, and Ranin sits in the ultimate viewing spot. She invites the frightened boys to join her. He sees her as the enemy, you see, but after thinking about it, he sits next to her. His father really doesn't feel comfortable about this whole situation. Loud music is heard, and the two are swept away to another world. They find themselves in Errol Flynn's Robin Hood, with Ranin in the heroine's outfit chasing the sheriff who kidnapped the frightened Muis. After she manages to save him, the film changes and the two are thrown into a scene from a Laurel and Hardy movie. They are in panic, they don't know what is happening, what is going on. The film changes again and they find themselves in a scene from Carefree starring Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire. They wear oversized evening clothes and can't stop dancing. This is where their friendship blossoms. They don't really understand what's going on, but they sure do enjoy it. The film changes rapidly and they find themselves in Tarzan film, in an Egyptian film, in a Dracula film, in a country drama, in an old airplane and more and more. When the screening ends, they return astonished to reality. It's the end of the day in the cinema. Ranin's mother looks for her and finds her by the projection room. She grabs her and angrily pulls her away from there. Muiz's father is mad at him for not listening to him. The two are pulled to opposite sides, each to a different side. They don't even know each other's name. Outside, Ranin's mother hugs her and asks her not to make her worry like that again. Muiz's father gently explains that he is too young to understand, but he and that girl could never be friends. The two don't accept it. They leave their parents and quickly run to the cinema entrance. For the first time in their life, they oppose their parents, who are stunned. They face each other. Muiz extends his hand and says his name. Ranin does the same thing, and they shake their hands. When they return to their stunned parents, they both realize it's a beginning of a great friendship. A friendship based on one language, the language of cinema. As the plot progresses, the two slowly become close friends. They learn how to communicate through film cuts, drawing and stories they tell each other. They go on to amazing adventures through their imagination and the magic of the seventh art. In order to create their own movie, they start a special project, building a film camera from a cardboard. Together they come up with what they consider to be the greatest idea ever for a movie. A combination of a Errol Flynn adventure movie with an Arab movie-style musical numbers. The friends are their crew. Ilan, a tall dramatic 10-year-old who dreams of being a Shakespearean star, he is the production main actor. Rama, a beautiful, funny 9-year-old singer who knows by heart all full Kulthum songs, and she is the star of the musical scene. Muhammad, a strong 9-year-old woman, and of course Yossi, a sensitive 9-year-old poet. Together, the gang makes a movie with a cardboard camera, without a film, and 1930s Jerusalem is their location. Shooting the movie in Cinema Rex becomes the center of their life. Muiz and Ranin believes they have found their calling in life. Meanwhile, outside the movie theater, everything goes on as usual. The magic of the movies skip the adult world. We witness the endless circle of hate and violence, each side believing he is right, but actually just make the situation more complex and dangerous every day. The endless clash claims victims daily, and still does until the day it reaches our protagonists. Then, Muiz and Ranin's friendship will be tested, and we will see if the magic of cinema is stronger than reality. The two will have to learn that just like in the movies, love is stronger than hate. But unlike the movies, in our reality, there is no promises for an happy ending. This project is a part of our life for the last 3.5 years, and we have put everything we can to make it. Our journey together made us a close friend, me and my amazing co-creator Mra'ayan, with a mutual goal in life. On the way, we were joined by further partners, and our really biggest dream is bring this project to the finish line. We already produced a 8-minute proof of concept that won the Canal Plus Family Award in Annecy 2020. And we received a development grant from the Israeli Film Fund, and we are signed with the sales company Pink Parrot Media, and we are doing everything we can to bring this feature and this story to life, and we really hope you could see this feature in the near future. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Anan.
I'm Shalev.
And this is our project, The Fenestas, an animated comedy web series.
The Fenestas are a warm, typically Israeli family, but each week they have to vote out one of the members from Grandpa Noah's wheel.
Who is Grandpa Noah? Grandpa Noah is a sad little man. He doesn't do much in his life. He usually just sits and watches TV. And one day he thought to himself, when I die, all my family will fight on the will. There'll be everything. Drama, lies, backstabbing, and I'll miss everything? No way. So he decided to make a game. In the game, every week the family needs to make a Shabbat dinner and to vote one of the family members from the will. The last one standing gets the inheritance and the apartment in Jerusalem.
Both of us graduated from the Bezalel Academy for Arts and Design. With Nadav Shefer, our third partner, we created a thesis film, Are You Still There?, which is also screening right now in the Jerusalem Film Festival. Each of us comes from a different animation field. I'm a stop motion artist, Anan is a 2D animator, and Nadav is a 3D animator. In addition, I write the script, Anan designs the characters, and Nadav is modeling a 3D background.
And besides working together, we're good friends. We make banana cakes together. We cry, we laugh, we hug, and most importantly, we gossip. The main comment we got on our thesis film, it's really like a show. It's like a pilot. Why don't you make a show? Hey, make a show. And I was like, okay, Mom, back off. We'll make a show, fine. So this is where we are.
Yes. Right after we graduated from Bezalel, there was an open call for a workshop to develop web series by the Jerusalem Film Fund and Kan Israeli Public Broadcaster.
When the three of us sat together to make a pitch for the workshop, Shalev, who is a big survival fan,
Guilty.
That's all he ever talks about, said in a really small voice, hey, maybe we'll make a survivor show in a family setting. And I laughed. I said, there's no way in hell we're making that. I was wrong.
For me, family is a very interesting group of people. On the one hand, we value it the most, and on the other hand, we take it for granted most of the time. And but at the end of the day, it's a group of individuals, like every other group. We wanted to examine our families with social dynamic tactics. We were accepted to the workshop, and during the workshop, with the help of our mentor, Nadav Frischman, we developed the story settings, the characters, and the concept of the series.
In the original concept, Grandpa Noah was dead, but then as we worked on the show, we realized to understand his motives and his character, maybe we should bring him back to life. And that's what we did.
We did it.
Yay! He's alive.
The family tree was a bit more complicated. We had a great-grandson of Noah and his brother, and now we cut out their worlds.
We killed them.
We also simplified the taglines of each episode, so it will revolve less around counting votes and more around family conflicts and day-to-day situations that are becoming family membership tests.
Towards the end of the workshop, we wanted to create a trailer of the series to be a proof of concept of the show. With the help of the Film Fund of Jerusalem, we started working on the trailer, but then COVID-19 hit and the workshop froze. We were really anxious. We didn't know if it's continuing, what's going on, and we decided in the end to finish the trailer, and within a month we had 1.5 minutes of animation ready. And after 2 months, we presented our trailer to be part of our final pitch for the workshop. We started going into more serious levels of production, and now we're building a budget. They told us it's going to be a really long, exhausting phase. We didn't believe them, and how wrong we were. It's awful.
Right now, we are enrolled in another workshop by the Jerusalem Film Fund, during which we are going to produce the whole series with the help of Kan Israeli Public Broadcast, and the Jerusalem Film Fund.
Our mentor from the first workshop, Nadav Frischman, said to create a successful project, you need a lot of luck, but you also need to work very hard to create yourself those opportunities. Now we're going to show you our trailer, our main proof of concept for the Finestas. We hope you enjoy.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
אני רואה את הסוף. ראיתי משפחות נקרעות בגלל ירושה מטומטמת. מה כבר יש לי? דירה 3.5 חדרים, 4 כיווני אוויר. בשכונה העתיקה והציורית של נחלות.
ואותנו!
אני לא אתן למשפחה שלי DNA מבשרי לריב על הירושה שלי לאחר מותי. אני רוצה לראות את זה בעצמי. מה, אני פרייר? כל שבוע המשפחה תתכנס לארוחת שישי. בתחילה יערכו הצבעה וינשלו את אחד היושבים מהירושה.
אל תדאג, הם חייבים לאהוב אותך.
האחרון שנשאר זוכה בדירה.
אתם ברצינות מתלבטים אם להעיף אותי או את הכלב?
חדשות רעות. עירית בהיריון.
מזל טוב.
אם לא נעיף אותה עכשיו, תחזור בשבוע הבא עם עוד קול.
It's a long and bumpy journey from the initial idea to the screen. For your quest, you'll perhaps need to team up with dedication, lots of dedication, and some luck, and great mentors, and a film fund supporting you. But taking in consideration that not all will reach the destiny, you will definitely need 2 partners for your journey: strong motivation and a passionate desire to tell your story. Please join us and watch 5 newly developed projects. After each pitch, we will hear reactions from our international mentors.
Hello everyone, my name is Eliran Peled. I'm the producer and co-creator of The Switch.
And I'm Shelly Arez. I'm co-creator and the art director for The Switch.
So we are very proud to present you our show. The Switch is targeted to 6 to 11. It's 56 episodes by 11 minutes. And let's start. So I'm very happy to introduce you to Danny Banks. Danny is an amazing 10-year-old inventor. He's really like superbly talented. And he dreams of being the next Steve Jobs. The only problem that unlike Steve Jobs, Danny is a neurotic 10-year-old boy. He's the worst public speaker you will see in your lifetime. He's really, really bad with dealing with stressful situations. And those traits make it a lot of the time that people really don't see the amazing talents that he has, especially not his family. Between his career-driven parents, his bully half-brother, his noisy infant sister, and his dumb dog Skip, nobody really gives much attention for him, especially not his grandma, because she's like a bridge championship, 7-time running, but he doesn't even get sympathy from her. Usually he learned how to live with it, but on his 10th birthday, he had enough. Danny actually learned how to live with it in the 10 years he's in this world, but on his 10th birthday, he had enough. Again, his family forgot about his birthday, and when he makes his birthday wish on the cake that he bought for himself, a wish slips that he never dared to wish before. I wish my family will switch. Apparently, even the one in charge of birthday wishes doesn't really pay much attention to our friend Danny, because he really took it in a very literal sense, and Danny wake up to a new reality the next day. A reality in which his infant sister now lives in his mother body. His fashionista 40-year-old mother now lives in his infant sister body. His dad now lives in his dog's body. His dog Skip, the dumbest dog you will ever meet in your lifetime, now lives in his father body. His nice, cute sister now lives in his bully big brother, and his cute grandma now acts like a edgy teenager from hell. And in this crazy situation, Danny, the kid who really hated to deal with stressful situation, find himself as the responsible adult. How the hell are you gonna survive something like that?
That is quite a lot for one 10-year-old to handle all by himself. So luckily for Danny, he has his two best friends by his side, Toby and Emma. Toby is the world's greatest storyteller. He creates rich, detailed stories within seconds, which also makes him a fantastic liar. So when things get rough, he will just create a spin and get everybody out of trouble. Emma is the greatest producer-manager of her age group and will never say no to a challenge. When Danny is stressed and freaking out, she will smack him out of it and make sure everything works the way it should. Besides being his two best friends, they have their own motives into helping the situation, their own family backgrounds. Toby is an only child, partially disabled by birth, is smothered by his parents' love and overprotection, and wants to prove himself as worthy for who he really is. Emma's parents are going through a tough divorce, and she longs to feel the warm embrace of a big, united family once more. So they all join together into helping this situation, and kind of become a family by choice for each other.
It's a family by choice, but they also kind of, live in any kid's fantasy. Who, as a kid, didn't think about, I wish I could be the responsible adult. So those three actually become the responsible adult in this crazy situation, in this crazy family. And they need to understand how they could work together to really manage it in the best way possible. So Shelly, let's talk about how this episode is gonna look like, sure, and how those three gonna do it. So think about a situation, what happens when you need to go to a PTA meeting, but your dad is a dog and your mom is an infant? Or what happened when your bully big brother now inhabits the body of a sweet granny, decides to become a viral sensation, like by driving the skateboard? For him, it's him driving the skateboard. For the world, is a 80-year-old woman driving a skateboard like a 16-year-old boy.
There was also this one time when Danny's dad was sick of being a dog and wanted to get back to his old human body, so he tried to fake a birthday, Danny's birthday, in order to fool whoever's in charge of birthday wishes, so they will turn them back.
But unfortunately for him, some people in the family are actually really enjoying this new situation, especially Danny's big brother and his grandmother. For a teenager, he lives the dream. He has the schedule of an 80-year-old woman. He can be mean, he can do whatever he wants, and nobody tells him anything. He's an 80-year-old woman. And for Granny, now living in a 17-year-old body, she can feel her knees again. She can feel, everything is in the right place again. So they will do anything to stop the plans of this fake birthday. And actually, all of the episodes, it's about how this weird family and those three best friends manage to live daily life in this crazy situation.
While these family members are literally living everyday life in each other's shoes.
The Switch is a show about three best friends that get the opportunity to become the responsible adults. But more than that, it's a show about the fact that families can come in all shapes and sizes. No one is better than the other. And about the fact that a family is always a family by choice. You can choose your own family. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I just see how much they're growing and how much they will continue to grow. I love our collaboration and the interaction we've had. I just think that the possibilities are endless. There's an alignment that is really wonderful that I've seen, at its nascent stage, because I think I was there for the very first one, and the development from then till now. I know they've gotten to know a lot of really accomplished executives in the entertainment business around the world.
Hi, my name is Moria and I'm a mother. I'm also a screenwriter, a stop-motion artist, a woman, a person. But all of this doesn't matter, because I'm a mom. 3 years ago, after my second son was born, I felt like I was being crushed by the weight of motherhood. My children seemed like complete strangers, and I kept imagining myself running away from them, just taking my car keys and disappearing. I was unable to silence that thought screaming in my head, saying, what have I done to myself? What have I done? And I was afraid that I don't love my children anymore, at least not the way I'm supposed to. Out of this deep distress, the film 251 was born. 251 is a 7-minute stop-motion puppet animation film that tells about 1 minute in the life of a broken young mother. It is 2:51 a.m. Mother is fast asleep in a completely dark bedroom. A baby cry disturbs the silence and mother wakes up to breastfeed. She sits up. Her body is skinless. Her internal organs are visible in the dim light. Mother checks to see that her breasts are in place, pulls some kind of garment from the bedside. It's her skin. She begins to wear it, but to her surprise, one of her breasts just jumps out of her chest and falls to the floor. Mother bends to pick it up, but the other breast jumps out too, and before she realizes what's going on, Mother finds herself chasing after 2 elusive breasts all around the bedroom. As the chase intensifies, Mother gets confused. Her intestines loosen from her belly and get tangled with furniture, but Mother continues with the chase and drags and pulls the intestine behind her. Slowly, the room becomes a dense tangle of crisscross intestine wire, and Mother almost manages to catch a cornered breast when she's suddenly pulled to a halt by the now tight and unyielding intestine. A baby cry is heard again, and Mother pulls herself together. Desperate to breastfeed, she manages to rip the gut out of her stomach. The gut detaches and flies out like a rubber band, throwing out all her internal organs with it and leaving her hollow and empty. But Mother doesn't care, she's free. She runs and finally manages to catch the breast, not noticing that behind her, her discarded intestine slinks and gathered the remains of her body to form a crude female figure. And the figure snatches the breast out of Mother's arm, and Mother pounces back and pulls the breast so hard until it tears between the two of them, spilling milk all over the floor. At that moment, Mother loses it. She no longer cares about anything. She wants to destroy and maim and hurt and mercilessly keeps on beating the figure. But the figure doesn't fight back. Instead, it wraps itself around Mother in a paralyzing grip, a grip that slowly softens into a bear hug. And Mother stops struggling and breaks down in tears, allowing herself to calm down. And the figure falls silent on the floor. A baby cry is heard again, and Mother slowly begins to collect her organs, putting them back in place. She gently picks up her breasts and reattaches them, wears her skin. She's loose and worn, but finally human. It is 2:52 a.m. I would like to show you now a short proof of concept that was produced in our beautiful Jerusalem studio, the Aquarium. Please. Okay, so what you've just seen is a stop-motion puppet animation, a technique in which we actually move a physical puppet in front of a camera, frame by frame, to give it life. The choice of stop-motion animation is thematic. The tactile feel of fabric which the puppet is made of allows the mother's visceral struggle to manifest in the most graphic way possible while maintaining softness and delicacy. At the end of last year, 251 won first place at the Peach Point Short Competition that took place in the Jerusalem Film Festival and received production fund from the Gesher Film Fund in Israel. Currently, we're in the pre-production stage and all the work is being done at our studio, and at this point we seek additional funding so we can get to the finish line of the film. So basically, this is the story I'm asking to tell. It's a small story about loss of identity and self-compassion, about a mother who is willing to give up everything, but her essence, her body demands, look at me, I deserve to be loved too. And I want to tell this story not only because it's mine, but because I believe it's important for mothers, for parents, for all of us, so we can understand that it's okay to feel like this. Everything is fine. We are fine. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Andrew Gordon, and I'm an animation director. in hearing about this story at first, I was like, I don't know, intestines and breasts jumping around. But then, when I saw the animation test, I was sold, right? First off, I thought that you had a great hook. I think your presentation was great. Your pitch was really nice. It was a dark and interesting theme for animation. This is a subject that's really, really hard to tackle, obviously, and really courageous, to tackle. People go through this, and I think that animation is a great medium for this. It definitely, for me, was one of the most compelling pitches. I really loved the idea of what you could do, especially with something that has a felt feel or a cloth-like feel. It kind of often softened the kind of grotesqueness of what it could be. So I thought that was a really great choice. I love the animation that you did in the piece you showed and the acting, and I could tell that there were some great animators working on this.
Hi, my name is Ariel, and I'm one of the creators of a group named Panchomime. First of all, I have to be honest. This is not a regular pitch. I'm not pitching a series. I'm not pitching a character. What I wish to present before you today is a new way to tell stories. This new way combines the classic art form of mime with the modern technology and possibilities of animation. This combination creates a whole new language that enables us to tell almost any story in a unique and original way. So now, let's see how all this came about. We are three best friends, alumni from the same acting studio, who love performing, being on stage, and making kids and parents laugh out loud. And for the last 10 years, that's exactly what we did. We have produced and performed live shows together for families and kids in Israel and in many countries around the world. During COVID-19, as we all know, the theaters in Israel and all around the world were closed. And we were left with no ability to reach these audiences we love performing in front of. Well, at least that's what we thought. Because we got together and decided to take our skills and talents, whether it be miming, clowning, or storytelling, and convey them from the theater stage to the screen. And the outcome is a brand new YouTube channel called Panchomime, Mime for Kids, a whole new, fun, and colorful world of content for children. We basically created for ourselves a creative home, a place where we can share our work and express ourselves as artists. This channel is already filled with a large variety of fun, fresh, and original videos for kids by using our own artistic language that is based on 4 main elements: a storyteller, professional mimes, animation placed on top of the mime's movements, and of course, original music. When these 4 elements come together, they create a new and playful way to tell stories. We basically want to bring back the classic art form of mime, share it with the kids, and give it a modern and cool twist, because mime can be an amazing tool for kids to use their imagination and help them express themselves. So how about we start by showing you a couple of short examples of what we're talking about. Using the language we just presented to you, we can tell a story from a children's book.
זה הקרש שלי, אמרה דנה. לא נכון? ענה אלון, אני מצאתי אותו ראשון. שלי, לא, שלי! אני אקרא לאבא שלי. הוא יותר חזק ממך. ואני אגיד לדודה שלי שלומדת קראטה, היא מנצחת את אבא שלך בקלות. ואני אקרא למלך הרשע. הוא יותר מסוכן מהדודה שלך.
ואני אביא את הדרקון הנורא והמפחיד. הוא יורק אש.
So that was Story Mime, our way to tell original stories written by local authors. This way of telling stories can easily be translated into any other language and tell various stories from different countries in their own native tongue. That's what's so special about the universal language of mime. When we realized we can tell almost any story we want, we thought, hey, why not take the biggest and most famous stories from our favorite Hollywood action movies? And that's exactly what motivated us to create this Western parody called The Good, the Bad, and the Frog. Let's take a sneak peek.
Ding dong dong ding.
As you can see, we love to have fun and would love to make a full season that pays tribute to various genres of our beloved movies. Another cool way to use our language is through songs. Songs that inspire kids to use their creativity and imagination while improvising different uses of everyday objects. Just like the world of improv has endless possibilities, the same is true with this project. Finally, we can even tell historic and classic stories from the Bible, like you can see right here, Noah's Ark. So we just gave you a taste of our contents. And now a few words about our platform. In the past 2 weeks, our channel has officially been launched. It's up and running and is viewed by many countries around the world. This action we took, creating this unique and independent broadcast, got the wheels turning and brought upon us some new artistic opportunities. 2 major local children's networks, one of them being the biggest one in Israel, called Hope, both approached us and signed us to COVID-related projects, which we produced and filmed in a short period of time and are both currently running non-stop on their channels. In the meantime, a video we have created and performed with the biggest and most famous Israeli children's TV star, called Yuval HaMebulbal, using our own artistic language, got a record high of over 38 million views so far, showing us that our artistic vision has a true proof of concept. Finally, our first project that combines storytelling, miming, and animation called Story Mime, which you just saw earlier, won first place at the Hop, Skip, and Jump pitch contest a few years back and is currently one of the most favorite videos on our channel. These various projects spurred us to keep going and create more contents like this for children. They also showed us that we can work fast with a low budget while still maintaining a high standard of quality products. We truly believe that this is our gift to share with the world of broadcast and entertainment. We have proven that we can take almost any story and make it accessible to any child around the globe through this unique and universal language. So, we just gave you a taste of all these pilot projects that we have already produced and uploaded to our YouTube channel. Here is how you can be a part of this project. We would like to invite you to join us and take part in this exciting journey. We are looking for the right person from the entertainment and broadcast industry who shares our universal vision and is curious, like us, in finding new and creative ways to tell stories to children and adults all around the world. A person would help us produce a whole series based on stories from books, movies, skits, and songs while using the artistic language we developed so carefully throughout the years. And hopefully help us reach the hearts of children all over the world. We would love to hear your thoughts and ways to move forward and develop one or even more of these creative ideas. Thank you so much. We are Pancho Mime.
The creators I met with were enthusiastic, passionate, creative, full of ideas, open to collaboration, open to hearing critiques and praise and enjoying the kind of back and forth that, you know, we as somewhat cynical executives who've been in this business for a long time, sometimes, you know, we get inspired by the creators that I met with in Jerusalem who are really looking to send a message to the global audience.
Hello. Thank you all for coming today. It is a very special day for me. My name is Adas Almagor. I'm a filmmaker and an animator. I graduated last year from Bezalel Academy School of Arts and Design. And after graduation, I found myself moving back home with my parents to the ridiculously small shithole town called Carmiel in the north of Israel. My parents have been divorced for over 20 years and yet still live together under the same roof. My father is a retired police officer, religious, married for the third time, and my mother is a liberal free spirit. It is this complex background that really inspired me to write the movie I'm about to present to you today. #Kululush, animation and live-action movie, 7 minutes long. Once upon a time was a Moroccan king, the great King Garubi II, ruled over by the small and distant kingdom called Carmiel. He is deeply religious, incredibly powerful, radiates sex appeal and love his daughter Kalma to a fault. Kalma is an internet celebrity with over 400 million followers on TikTok. She's a fashion icon who refuses to wear the traditional head covering of the kingdom. Her hobby is to make scene about that during dinner, present her father in his milieu, and then escape from the kingdom. Whenever she runs away from the kingdom, she's plagued by head lice, which only her father is permitted to treat her. The film begins with Kalma returns home with the worst invasion of head lice her father has ever seen. Horrified, King Garubi tries to understand how the situation got to be so bad. But Kalma has been completely possessed by TikTok and now speaks only with emojis, lip sync, and GIFs. The king cannot understand a single word she's saying. However, King Garubi knows how to speak with animals, and he interrogates Kalma's head lice. They confess to him they arrived the night Kalma's boyfriend came over and had sex with her while she was sleeping. When the king heard this, why? He gets so angry, he start fighting with Kalma and threat her, tell her that if she will go back to her boyfriend, he will disown her. Kalma gets upset and tell him that, which is in her language, go fuck yourself, I'm gonna marry him today, and escape from the kingdom. During her escape, she discovered that she too can speak with animals, and her lies suggest to her to take revenge over the insolent king by filming a TikTok story in which she will remove her head covering, show her beautiful hair. This is the worst and forbidden law in the kingdom. Her story goes viral, sparking a rebellion in the kingdom. Millions of women follow her lead and filming themselves, removing their head covering. When the king realized his kingdom is on the brink of chaos, he sent the royal guards to capture Kalma, drag her by her hair to the town square, where they publicly shaved her head. The king is present at this event and instantly filled with regret. He realized it has gone too far. But it's too late for regret. Kalma's head lice put a curse on him and turned him into a louse on Kalma's head. The king is left powerless. He lost his throne, his power, his body. He has nothing left. The film ends with Kalma wearing her father on her head, getting back to her boyfriend. This film has two visual styles. The one that characterizes Kalma is in a frame of Snapchat, TikTok, and Instagram. And the visual style that characterizes the king is footage that I took of my hometown in Carmiel and the village that my family is related to in Morocco. Thank you very much. I was Adas Almagor, and I got so much to show.
I was really happy to kind of see the film, Kululush. I think that it was a really interesting story for me, and I thought it had a nice personal connection. Obviously coming up with a story that has to do with, that is kind of embedded in your family life. Those are always the greatest stories, the ones that are kind of deep down and bubbling kind of within you and under the surface. I would say that some of the things that I would just recommend for you if you go forward with this film is that you pay a little bit more attention to the kind of stylization of the characters and the designs and the color. I felt like there's a little bit of room to play with the perfection of that and kind of moving away from that traditional kind of student film look. I do really feel like you should surround yourself with kind of almost what we would call when I was working at a place, when I was working at Pixar, called the Brain Trust, which is just trusted individuals that are going to give you solid, candid notes. I also thought that the best way to kind of shoot your video would be also on an iPhone, because if you're kind of doing subject material that takes place on an iPhone, like Instagram and TikTok videos and very kind of pop culturally things like that, then you want to make it true to kind of the media. But in general, I thought that it was a great idea. I thought that your passion as a filmmaker came through. I liked how you pitched it. I think that you have a lot going for you, and I wish you the best of luck on this film.
I just didn't know that much about what they had been doing in animation. And when I got there and I met so many people who were pitching ideas, I was immediately blown away by how bright these people were, how smart and funny their ideas were, how much research they had put into them, and most of all, how passionate they were about them.
Hi, I'm Efrat. I'm a filmmaker and editor. My film Tהליך was screened at multiple film festivals around the world and at Yes Doco TV channel. But 2 years ago, I felt stuck. I wanted so badly to do another film or just do something, but instead, nothing happened. And also the day after, and the day after that. I had nothing better to do, so I went to visit my grandmother. And Granny, Safta, a stubborn and cheeky Moroccan lady, celebrated that day her 104th birthday. Her Filipino caregiver, Maylin, baked her a cake, set the table, when Grandma turned around and said, "I want to die." She had only a tiny problem. The doctor just confirmed her biggest fear. Her blood pressure is okay, her sugar okay. At this rate, she might reach 120. Maylin, however, when she first took this job, was told a whole different thing. After 4 years and 3 months, if the old dies, you go back to where you came from. But 5, 6, 10 years go by. 10 years in which she can't visit her family in the Philippines. She's already 42 and hasn't had her own family. 10 years and Granny refuses to die. And that's how the film was born. Nothing Special is a 12-minute short film in a technique of docu-animation combined with live action about 2 women sitting between 4 walls waiting. One for her life to end, the other for them to begin, and about all the imaginary worlds they create while waiting for something to happen. Here's a teaser from the opening scene.
Imagine that you want to see a movie, you buy the ticket, you sit down, you expect something. But all you're gonna see is just an old woman sitting next to her caregiver in the living room and doing nothing. You can hear the radio from the kitchen, and you have this fan working. But that's it.
And then what?
And then starts the daily conversation. She asks, "What's the day today?" After a second, "Maya, what is the day today?" "Today is Wednesday," I say. "Sunday?" "No, Wednesday." "Tuesday?" "Tuesday." "Okay, finish conversation." Like that every day. So you see, it's nothing special.
That is Maylene, playing herself. The perky woman next to her is not my grandma. She spared the spotlight for a younger actress. The couch they are sitting on is this size, and this is the fan. Miniatures of grandma's original house recreated especially for the film. And this house, all this world, is actually encapsulated inside a bus station, which, like a surprise box, allows the game between the inside and the outside. So even when Maylene and Granny are finally out, they carry the walls of the house with them. And as the film goes on, Maylene and Gran are trying to escape this endless waiting to find a loophole in the cinematic world they're trapped in. So while no bus is stopping, Grandma gets up and walks right towards the road, which reveals it's actually a fake paper road that leads to nowhere. And Maylene, in an animation fantasy scene, is conceiving the best escaping plan. She's gonna buy a tiny boat in the Philippines for fishing. And then, with the money she'll get from the fish, she's gonna have a rice field with many workers, a beauty parlor, and even a bakery called Mylene's Place, so eventually she could plug them all up to a closed circuit of security cameras and be at the other side of the world swimming with dolphins. And only after she realizes fulfilling this dream is quite a headache, and starts to observe the specialness of the little nothings in her life, the bus station is breaking down of its own and letting her go. 4 months ago, Grandma passed away. The funeral was sad, but I also had in mind that even death wasn't strong enough to face Granny's stubbornness. Maylene, realizing she's pretty good at keeping people alive, started taking care of someone else's granny. And I decided to face this stuckness that was following me around and ask her to join my journey. And before noticing, stuckness was no longer a threat, and good things started to come. A French production company, Iki Films, who produced Negative Space that was nominated for the Oscars, found the film super relevant in these days when we all seem to wait between four walls, and joined as co-producers. I also got funds to shoot the live-action part, which you just saw images from. In order to complete this 12-minute short film, what I need is a last production grant in order to shoot the stop-motion animation part, which is the most meticulous but beautiful piece in this complex puzzle. Nothing Special is a film about the time that passes while we attempt to reach higher, to run faster, and missing out on life while waiting for them to happen. It's a film about the courage to face reality, imperfect as it might be, and say, but it's also special. Thank you so much.
I really liked this film. I thought that it had a great premise. I love the idea of how you came up with it, and it kind of really resonated with me because I had a grandmother that she lived to be about 103, and at the end she also kind of had that idea of like just wanting to kind of let go and pass on. And so I really wanted to understand that. And in your film, I think there's a lot of possibility of kind of like exploring that relationship and going into it deep. Love the use of miniatures. I like the idea of the thematic of the story. The idea of life and death and feeling trapped and how do you escape it. It's really great themes that everybody can relate to. I guess my only thing that I was wondering is that why not animate the characters? Why not make the whole thing animated, but I know that that is very difficult with human character animation. So the use of live action on top of miniatures is something that I haven't seen too much of. So I would be really interested to see this film go forward. So thank you.
I can't say enough good things about it. I still talk about it incessantly. I still reminisce about everything that I experienced there, and I really look forward to going back again.
We again want to thank our mentors for sharing the knowledge and know-how. As you all know, here in Jerusalem, we are pretty close to the decision maker himself. And after long discussions and agreements, we know that 2021 is surely going to be a great year. So please join us for dessert, a sneak preview of Jerusalem's upcoming animation productions to be released in 2021.
My name is Noah Meshulam, and I am the director of Baldy Heights, an original animation feature film produced by my production company, Pichipoy Animation Production. The film is 78 minutes and inspired by Ephraim Sidon's famous children's book, Baldy Heights. Sidon is known for his political satire. In our film story, you can see the criticism crystal clear because of the stupid hatred between people and countries that no one remembers about what and how it all began. We combine two stories. One is about Lily, a 14-year-old girl, and the parallel story of the big wall that separates between two cities. Lily, who lived in Curly Hill, a city defined by her, suspects that behind the big wall there is no enemy, as everyone said. She will abandon everything she knows to face her fear and cross the wall to the Bald People City. She and her baldy friends Greg Top will try to end the hatred between both sides and unite them with music. Our feature film is unique 3D animation, a rare sight in the Israeli animation market.
Our story, by the title Where is Anne Frank, begins in a year from today in Amsterdam, in the Anne Frank Museum, in the Anne Frank house. In the winter, there is a terrible storm, thunderstorm, and due to the storm, the glass box that is keeping safe the original diary explodes, and out of the original diary, a magic is created, and the ink of the original diary becomes into a character, which is Kitty. And Kitty is Anne Frank's imaginary friend. Kitty is the girl that Anne invented in the original diary in the very first pages, gave a precise description of her that we used. And the original diary is written in a format of letters that Anne writes to her imaginary friend, Kitty. So in our film, in the second scene of the storm, Kitty is created again today. She's 14 years old. She doesn't know that 75 years have passed. She doesn't know what happened to Anne Frank. She doesn't know that the war has ended. She is invisible, as she is Anne Frank's friend. During daytime, she lives in the museum, flooded by tourists from all over the world. No one can see her. During nighttime, she opens the original diary, and we dive through a time machine back to the past, to the days of the diary. And we see what happened during the war days. But the way this is portrayed is like a coming-of-age cinema film with a relationship between Anne Frank, a teenager, and her imaginary friend, Kitty, also a teenager. So everything that Anne wrote becomes now a dialogue between the two girls, Kitty and Anne, that in a way is the motive, is the catalyst of the first part of the movie. Kitty understands that something terrible happened to Anne. She doesn't know what. She steals the original diary, and she goes through a quest to find out what happened to Anne Frank. And we were looking for a new style of design for this movie. So the first thing you will see is a bit of characters design. If you go on the line between realism and comics, okay, you see that, for example, Waltz of Bashir is very realistic design. The more realistic the design is, the more tough it is to move the characters. The more you go through the comic style, it is easier to move. In the Congress, we already did with the team one step towards the other side of realism, but not enough. And here we stretched it, the borders a little more. For coloring an atmosphere in the movie, usually when you have a film that deals with present time, contemporary, and past time, which is wartime, you will always make the present time contemporary very vivid, and then you go backwards in time, or either you have black and white or a very monochromatic frame. And so I decided to do the other way around. Amsterdam today, the entire film is happening during the hardcore winter, as I stated in the beginning. And it's very monochromatic, very depressing. Meanwhile, when you jump into the past time through Anne's eyes, you know, it's very vivid, very imaginary, very fantastic in a way. Because in order to bring out the real character of Anne and not the mythological Anne, you know, she was funny, she was witty, she was very sharp in understanding weaknesses of the adults around her and then sending small arrows exactly in the same places. And she was very full of color.
Following 3 years of a devastating siege on Leningrad, Red Army forces have successfully broken through the German blockade, crushing their defense lines and inflicting hundreds of thousands.
Calm down now. Surely you do not want us to be found
The enemy's hold
out.
on the Eastern Front has been definitely eradicated, a step that marks the beginning of the end of the war.
This film is probably the first time where a very unique technique is used, and that's a combination between stop motion backgrounds, which are built in miniatures, and 2D painted characters who move frame by frame in classic old school animation. Now, this entire radio interior set is something like 3 meters long. Every lamp you see here is handmade, glass blown with electrics planted inside. And it took us to shoot just this scene something like 1 month. This is a massive production with a stupidly crazy budget because we need to frame 149,000 drawings, handmade, all of them. So it's spread between 15 studios around the world, in Brussels, in Amsterdam, in Luxembourg, in the Virgin Islands, in New Zealand, in Australia, in Spain, in the Philippines, in Malaysia. Everything is conducted by 30 artists sitting here in Jerusalem. Jerusalem is heavily supported by the Jerusalem Film Fund. And we did here all the designs of the movie, all the layouts, 1,200 shots were made in Jerusalem. A lot of the background character designs and all the supervision of the animation of all the studios. The process is like each shot out of the 1,200 shots we have is going all those phases all through the world. You have a shot starting here in Jaffa in the animatic, or in a basic shot, it goes, for example, it goes to Brussels. Okay, next stage, they do cleanup in between in Manila. Then it goes back to Luxembourg. Meanwhile, the backgrounds are done in Spain. Then it comes back to Jerusalem. They connect everything together. Try doing this 3 years in a row, 10 hours a day. I swear when I started this production, I had dark hair like this shirt. I've been working on this movie for 7 years now, and I'm gonna complete it, touch wood, next month with the final mixes. And I'm very proud leading a team of 30 people here in Israel and probably 100 more just working on this film for 3 consecutive years of production every day.
Thank you all for joining our Made in Jerusalem presentation. For further details about our production support system, please visit our website. Let us hope, as promised, that 2021 is going to be a great year, a wonderful year for animation worldwide, and a fantastic year for animation made in Jerusalem. And as the Jewish blessing predicts, Leshana Haba'a B'Yerushalayim, next year, live in Jerusalem. So thank you again for joining us tonight, and have a great year and a great festival. See you around.